So good afternoon, or good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Leupold, and I'm an instructional technologist at the University Online Education Services at Rutgers University. But this is not about me today. So on behalf of the 2025 Rutgers University Online Learning Conference, it is my pleasure to welcome Robin Simpson, an adjunct professor in the Communications Department at St. John's University. We're pleased to have her share her thoughts on integrating generative AI to neurodiverse students. And during the presentation, please engage using the live chat section. You can pose any questions you may have, and she will be able to answer them as we go along. And there will also be a little bit of time at the end for additional questions. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to you, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric, for having me here today. I would like to share my thoughts on integrating generative AI to neurodiverse students in higher education. Next slide, please. About me, I am a PhD student, adjunct professor, a social researcher. I am also an owner of a residential daycare for the past 16 years. And as a result of my research in integrating generative AI to neurodiverse students, I've developed the guide framework in which I will talk about this morning. I am an advocate for inclusive education and ethical AI use. Next slide, please. The purpose of this presentation is what is AI? Due to the fact that it's a very controversial issue, I would just like to lay a little foundation of what AI is, exploring how generative AI can support neurodiverse students, and also talk about the challenges in the IEP and the 504 plans in reference to AI technology, and also ensuring that AI is used ethically in education. So, okay, hold that slide. You can go back to the next slide. Right, thank you. So to provide a clear understanding of the role of education, AI is able to support neurodiverse students. Schember Huber, through the lens of information technology and quantum mechanics, explains that intelligence, whether biological or artificial, operates within the framework of structured information. This foundation enables AI to process, organize, and generate information in a continuous cycle. By recognizing patterns, structured data, AI expands the intelligence is expressed and utilized, reinforcing the idea that intelligence is a system of information processing rather than an isolated phenomenon. So, in real time, what the information theory and the quantum mechanics says is that all information is the same. And what AI basically does is expand the information. So, in the process of bringing AI to neurodiverse students, is the thought that one is an over reliance or it's going to take away the student's ability to analyze and be able to work on its own. And Shu Huber states that that is not the case. We have another thought of AI as an extension of intelligence, the unified field of conscious and scientific principles. Dahim, Change Wooks, Nakash, you can go to the next slide, argue that consciousness is fundamental, meaning that intelligence, whether human or artificial, is interconnected rather than isolated. Through the lens of non duality, the unified field of consciousness, intelligence exists within a shared cognitive network where AI is not separate but an extension of awareness. So, through the lens of information theory, computational neuroscience patterns and recognition, these scientific principles are the foundation of AI being introduced to neurodiverse students. In the field of unified consciousness suggests that intelligence is interconnected and also shaped by perception. So any other expression of intelligence involving alongside human cognition. Miller, on the other hand, states, and this is my favorite part, that AI functions as a mirror of human cognition. So AI is not a standalone. There is that constant interaction between the student and AI. And at any given point, the student is able to go back and be able to analyze the information that is given to them in order to understand if the information is correct, which is another ethical consideration at the end of the presentation, where I would talk about if the information is accurate or not. As AI continues to evolve, it enhances human ability to process, analyze, and organize information at an unprecedented level. So it's definitely an extension of intelligence. The role of consciousness and perception, Brown explores AI challenges traditional perception on awareness and cognition, prompting new discussion about the nature of intelligence. While AI does not create consciousness, it reshapes how intelligence is processed and understood, and expanding ways information is structured, analyzed, and applied. So now, with that foundation of AI, imagine in your mind's eye you have a neurodiverse student. And inside that neurodiverse student mind, they have uh, thoughts, letters, shapes floating around in their head. And AI could be an extension of being able to help organize that information that is in their head. So AI is transforming higher education. However, most research overlook neurodiverse students. So in the process of me doing my research, I had to pull information from different disciplines, educational psychology. Um, Later on, I talked self-determination, SDT theory. I had to go to UDL, and also AI frameworks in order to pull it all together to include neurodiverse students. The main point is we need to explore AI in the IEPs and the 504. And that's very key because by the time neurodiverse students get to higher education, they are coming with either a 504 or an IEP. So this information of the generative AI needs to be implemented on these documents before they get to higher education. Next slide, please. Okay, integrating AI for neurodiverse students enhances accessibility, academic performance, and self-advocacy. So in my framework, I include all of these three areas. In being neurodiverse, it's the thought of everyday challenges with masking to be able to appear to function in environments where stress is highly developed because of the neurodivergency. So, in that thought of self advocating for oneself, it improves the academic performance and giving each student the accessibility of the different areas that they need. Next slide. So challenges for neurodiverse students: writing difficulties, grammar, organization, coherence. As I said before, in some, not all neurodivergent students, when there is writing difficulties or neurodiversity, there is also the comorbidity of other obstacles impeding the student to be able to function in the normal neurotypical way in the classroom. Executive functioning is also another issue in terms of time management, keeping focus, organization. And as a result of these two, cognitive overload and anxiety play a huge part. Next slide. The role of AI in higher education. And I've left a list on the side of references of a tentative list of, of AI tools because they're constantly changing every day. With AI tools, the student will be able to help overcome some of these minor issues that they're having in class. It enhances writing, organization, accessibility. And as I said before, the gaps in research is there's very little studies. I think out of the articles that I pulled, maybe 2 or 3 had higher education, neurodiversity, and AI in the same article. So just to give you an example of what currently is on the IEP and the 504, it could be text to speech or speech to text. So in my thought, for example, if a student is dyslexic, having writing issues, they can speak their thoughts into a Word doc or Otter, OTTER. And once they finish speaking their thoughts on these platforms, they can be able to upload their transcript into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT will be able to organize their thoughts. The issue with this functioning, so is speech to text to text. So there's that extra layer. The issue with the movement from these different AI is that if it comes back AI generated, then it's assumed that the student is cheating. But in actuality, the student is using their own words. So the future implication of my research is, number one, if that student has generative AI on their IEP or their 504, and they are in constant conversation with their professor, the professor will understand and know that student's voice and be able to have a balance. And the third and the final thought would be, in using generative AI, if from a generative AI standpoint, to be able to use that student's own language to create documents in their own voice without using their own algorithms, to be able to produce that student's words. So the accommodation is very important to have it on their IEP and 504. Next slide, please. So the challenges and ethical consideration here again is the risk of the algorithm. There are certain words that are generated by AI that sounds kind of flowery and not so much of the student's voice. So in the neurodiverse student using AI, it is imperative that there is that constant interaction between the AI and the student itself. Digital accessibility and the socioeconomic divide. The majority of AI, generative AI, is costly. Some platforms will allow you to start for free, and then there is a monthly or an annual subscription that you will have to pay, and not all students are privileged to have those. So here again, if it's a part of the 504, the IEP, and the student reaches higher education, that it would be the university or the college responsibility to offer them platforms close to the generative AI that is on their IEP or 504. addressing privacy concerns in AI-powered accommodations. So privacy, as always, is an issue in using AI. But in all fairness, it's because of the accumulation of information that AI would be able to give back more accurate description of different topics in that the student is putting into the algorithm, the chat box. Next slide. So here again, AI-driven accommodations can help accessibility. Tools like Kurtwell 3000 Read and Write, those are currently being used as generative AI. But here again, there's very little interaction in these tools. Kurzweil 3000 is just going to read back to you a textbook. You're going to be able to highlight, make quiz cards. Read and write is the same principle. You can write and it'll be able to help you with your grammar. So right at this current time, there's no structured framework that exists in terms of what a student can use with generative AI. Next slide. Teaching AI as an adaptive tool, AI provides personal content and scaffolding. And this is one beautiful thing about AI. No two students are going to get the same response. Depending on the interaction between the student and AI, it varies from student to student. AI should be integrated into course structures. I was just listening to another session, and the speaker was explaining how AI can be introduced in classroom settings. According to Chuck Wary, the one issue is that faculty members need to be aware of how to use the AI and be able to integrate it into the classroom. Next slide. Institutional support, faculty training, the importance of AI literacy for educators. The main point that I'm understanding based on my research in terms of generative AI, higher education, administration, and faculty is the biases. And so with that, I've heard, as I said before, that there could be an over-reliance. Students are just dropping the prompt into the chat box and then turning in those assignments. And yes, those situations do occur. But here again, when you have the constant interaction between the student and the faculty, it kind of decreases because you're going to have the language of the AI and you're going to have the language of the student. And not to negate either one, but it's basically a situation where you are going back and forth and having constant interaction in all three areas. And also later on, I would talk about how having a writing coach or going to the writing center to be able to formulate your thoughts better after you have interacted with AI. Creating policies that integrate AI into IEP and 504. I cannot stress that enough because as an adjunct professor at the beginning of the semester, the students who come to me with a 504, I'm given a document. And based on the needs of that that's on the document for that student, that is how I move forward in assisting that student throughout the semester. If generative AI is on that accommodation, then that is my clue that I need to work closely with the student and ensure that he has more support than AI and myself in order to produce the work that is necessary. So the third step would be training faculty to support neurodiverse students ethically with AI. Next slide, please. So the same thing goes here, AI training for educators, AI assisted accommodation, in official policies. I know at St. John's University, we were in the process of organizing what you can use AI for. And that is a living, breathing document, and it continues to evolve over time because with AI being here is not going to go away. And we want to be ethically correct in using AI because the students are going to use it. So just to have an official policy in place ensures that, honesty is on the basis of using generative AI. Next slide, please. So learning AI for academic growth, AI adapts to the students' cognitive preferences. It's tools for organization, reading, and writing support, and it can reduce the cognitive overload. Going back to the initial framework, AI is a mirror to that student. So yes, it's going to give more information, but depending on what that student input into the chat box, they're able to go back and forth on the level of the student, and then AI will take it from there. So that reduces a lot of cognitive overload that will encourage the student to intrinsically be motivated to want to figure out what it is that needs to be done. Next slide. So the knowing AI application of knowledge application, here again, the metacognition and critical thinking, which is very important in terms of being able to understand what it is that the professor needs and requires for certain assignments, and being able to look at the output from ChatGPT to ensure that they are in the right place in terms of organizing their information. Another criticism is that faculty may feel that there's over reliance on AI, and yes, that can happen. However, if there's transparency and bias aware and use responsible educational equalities can move forward with the AI. There is a case of a young lady who is now suing Connecticut Board of Education. She graduated. Her name is Alicia Ortez, and she is claiming that she cannot read or write. After graduating from Hartford Public School in June with honors. Now, this is a neurodiverse student that was in the public school setting for 12 years, and she graduated with honors. Now she is attending college, and she is claiming that she's illiterate. She cannot read or write, but she graduated high school with honor. So here again, going back to my initial premise that somewhere along the line, the educational system failed her. And so now she's in a higher education setting and the demands are great. And she does not have the tools to maneuver through classes and work and assignments. So according to her lawsuit, she had been having problems with letter sounds and recognition as early as first grade. And because these issues were not addressed, she began acting out. And as I said, now that she's in higher education, she's overwhelmed. The purpose of integrating generative AI into higher education is to alleviate that type of situation so that all students can get the education that they need. Next slide. Okay, next slide, because I want to get to the guide. Okay, so as a result of my research, I developed the guide framework, and it's a structured approach to ethically using AI that supports self advocacy, accessibility, and academic integrity. My research aligns with these three frameworks: self determination theory, STD, UDL, Universal Design for Learning, and compassionate pedagogy is ensuring that AI is empowering tool rather than replacement for critical thinking and self expression. Next slide. So the background for guide framework in higher education, the first is integrity. Students must sign an academic honor pledge. And we have that here at the university. And basically it's saying that when in using AI, you would use it according to the guidelines of the guide framework. Ongoing training. As soon as students enter into higher education, I would like to present the guide and work with those students on a continuous basis as a support. In addition to a writing coach, talking with the professor, going to the writing center. AI integration, students engage in discussion with professors on ethical and practical use of AI, and also be able to Eric, there's a comment that says that my mic is hard to hear.
I think as you're changing your note, it's making a rustling sound. Your mic is picking
Okay.
it up. So I don't know if you
Okay.
could maybe set them a little bit more to the side or something that might help.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So AI is an academic tool and it's not a standalone with the support within the structured learning environment. Next slide. So based on AI, ethic, accessibility, self-advocacy needed for neurodiverse students aligns with established theories in education and philosophy. As I said before, you have the STD, the UDL, and this Chuck Wary, my favorite, because he initially when he basically did the same as what I'm doing. He pulled from different theories and came up with his own. But the one part that he left out was for neurodiverse students. I'm building on top of the foundation that he talks about in terms of readiness. And from the student, faculty, and administration, there needs to be a readiness because of the biases towards AI and being unfamiliar. uh, the foundation have to be set. And compassionate pedagogy basically is saying, have patience with yourself and be able to tap into your intrinsic need of wanting to learn. So whereas that young lady, she graduated with honors, I can just imagine in her mind's eye that she felt accomplished even though she knew she had these issues. Now she's moving into a place where she's not getting the support, and now all of her deficits are just singing very loud. Compassionate pedagogy addresses that in order to give that student the playing field to be patient and use the natural tools and resources that is at the university or school. So AI is supportive rather than replacement, and it's designed to empower neurodiverse students while maintaining academic integrity. Next slide, please. The guide framework overview is a structured approach for ethical AI use in education, ensures AI as an assist rather than replaces student effort, supports self-advocacy, accessibility, and academic integrity. Next slide. So the G is generating ideas and drafting content. So you're going to define your tasks and determine AI's role in terms of what you want it to do: brainstorming, drafting, or summarizing. You're going to establish writing goals before engaging in AI. So if, for example, you have a prompt and you're not sure on how to create your outline, you can put the prompt into ChatGPT and it's going to give you an outline if that's what you want. You may need it to correct your grammar. You may need to make sure that you have all the points based on the rubric. AI helps overcome writer's block while maintaining control. So you're not just putting the prompt in AI and running with it. You have to go back and ensure that your thoughts, putting your thoughts in and having the chat box to be able to organize your thoughts for you. Examples are here again, ChatGPT. There's a new one, DeepSeek. There's so many for brainstorming. Grammarly, you can use for structure. Next slide, please. The U is utilizing AI for refinement. Provide detailed prompts to AI for structured responses. And from my own personal point of view, the prompting is the most difficult in AI because it's not going to be able to replicate, to create what you want. You have to tell it what you need in order for it to give you the proper response. Use background information to improve AI output accuracy. Do not take AI as the ultimate. Make sure you have to go back and double check to make sure that the information is correct. AI generated outlines help break down complex tasks, and that is very key for neurodiverse students. Scaffolding is very important because of feeling the overwhelm and anxiety. If you break it down into smaller points and address them one by one, it will be easier to complete the task. Example, Notion AI for organizing academic notes. So as I said, there are so many different uh, AI apps that you can use depending on exactly what it is that you need to do. And I have the list provided for the up and coming. Next slide. I is for improving structure and coherence. Assess AI generate content for logically flow and clarity. Request refinements, tone adjustments, rewriting, adding details. And for neurodiverse students, it, this is almost like an epiphany, to be able to have these thoughts floating around in your head. All of a sudden, putting it in the chat box and reading it back, and it's matching what you're thinking and feeling. So many times with neurodiverse students is because they're in some instances they're not able to explain. It's very hard to put it on paper, but to have the ability now to put it on paper, it just encourages, based on the research that I've read, for students to continue to want to learn and not give up, as the young lady in Connecticut. Uh, Align AI suggestions with academic expectations and writing style. Here again, word tune, quip bold for sentence restructuring. Okay, next slide, please. D is for defining objects and personal insight. Integrate personal insights and research to maintain authenticity. Edit AI generated text to match unique voice and cognitive preferences, which here again, AI is not a standalone, and we don't want to lose the student's voice just to enhance it. So this also ensures idea cohesive, logically structured, and aligned with assignments. And example, AI assisted tools like Perplexity AI is a good one. Next slide, please. E, evaluating AI responses for accuracy and ethics. Cross check all your information. There have been incidents where it would give you a resource, and I have gone looking for the article and there's no such article. So you have to double check the resources that is given. and also identify potential biases, inaccuracy, and ethical concerns. Maintain integrity by citing AI assisted work properly. That's very key to ensure that we got to give AI its credit where the credit is due. For example, AI biases detect tools and academic integrity guidelines. So one of the parts that I feel that is important, as I said before, because the AI is not on the IEP or the 504, at this current time, if it comes back AI detected, then that's an issue where the university could use their own discretion on how they want to handle those type of situations. So whatever information that you're getting from AI, I would encourage my students to ensure that they do not use it directly. It's not a standalone. Next slide. Okay, so AI has great potential for neurodiverse students. The structure need to be included in the IEPs of 504s. And I think based on the research, once there is enough information, then the next step in the implication will have to go to K through 12 and begin to have a conversation on how the generative AI can be added to the IEPs in the 504. Ethical and responsible use in AI is crucial. Here again, going through the Pledge of Honor. The call of action for ethical AI integration is a cutting edge conversation now because there's so many thoughts and biases, and the floor is open for questions and discussion. Thank you for listening. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I thought I clicked the mute button.
Oh,
So thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, and we're open for some Q&A right now. If anybody would like to join the stage to ask their question in real time, there's a red button in the upper right of the presentation window to request to share audio and video. You can click that, and I will then add people to the stage one by one as the requests come in, or you can also feel free to ask any questions in the chat area.
Please ask a lot of questions, tough questions. I'm not scared because this research is very controversial. So the more feedback I get, it would definitely guide me in the direction that I need to go. I see a question, research on those who are nonverbal. That the part of the neurodivergent students that I'm more thinking about are the ones that are learning disabled. So it would be the ones with the ADHD, dyslexia, kind of on the spectrum, basically high functioning. For the students who are nonverbal, they're going to have their own technologies that they will be able to move forward with the AI. So I don't know exactly what individual technologies they are using, but I'm almost positive that they will be able to port that over to the chat and be able to get the information out. Students using it beside currently, because this is so new to me, I'm in the process of running a pilot study where I'm going to show them how to use the guide, and then see exactly how they're using it, and then I can move forward. So it's really very novel at this particular point, but definitely um, you can use it for other areas, but it's all on an individual basis depending on what that student needs. So my hypothesis would be, in a very, very idealistic world, would be that yes, they will be able to add the generative AI on the 504s in the IEP. And when students come into higher education, that they would get training on the guide, and that there will be constant ongoing training for faculty members to ensure that the student is getting what they need. So that's what my hypothesis is. So, but here again, I'm taught, don't lead the research. Let it fall into place. It may not even work altogether. Come on, tough questions. I need tough questions. We have 4 minutes left.
Did you want to run through your some of your polls?
Oh, yes, that would be great.
One more.
Oh, okay. So I see. Do I have any regards? Math. I am not a math person, but there is also that great possibility of using chat GPT, not chat GPT, a generative AI for math. Um, does your research upward? Yes, yes. Once they enter into higher education or at any given time, they can definitely obtain the guide framework. Okay, let's look at the polls. I'm interested in the polls. Journal should be used. Are we getting the results, or because I think I'm getting the questions?
If you go to the polls tab, you should be able to see the results.
Okay, so you popped up and it says show polls, and okay, create show results. So the first question is AI assisted accommodations, and there's no votes.
So when I publish it, moves to the bottom of the list. So if you scroll
Oh,
down to the bottom of the list,
oh, I can scroll down. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so one question is incorporating AI tools in teaching. And so we have one that strongly disagree, 50% that agrees, and 40% that strongly agree. And that's based on the research that I have come across as well too. Okay. So far, that's the only question that came up.
I just posted the second one.
Okay. Show poll, show results. AI assisted accommodation should be formally integrated into IEPs and 504s. Oh, the votes are still coming in. Strongly agree. That's good. Because that definitely will make a difference. You don't. It's very hard to see students once you enter into higher education and you register with the Office of Disability and they take all your documents and they give you your accommodation. You're basically on your own. And if you're taking a class load of 12 credits and you have to write papers and do work and the due dates are coming at you, that could be very overwhelming. But if there is a lot of, a resource of AI to be able to help you move forward, that's encouraging because, students who are neurodiverse have a higher rate of dropping out of college. They don't finish. Okay.
Okay, next question.
Okay. I would be open to incorporating. I think we did that one already. Yeah, we did that one. I currently use generative AI tools in my teaching, research, or administrative work.
So we're currently on generative AI should be used to assist students, but not replace critical thinking and independent problem solving.
Okay. Okay. So 60% strongly agree. 40% agree. Okay. Okay.
Okay, two more. Generative AI can enhance teaching by providing adaptive learning experiences for neurodivergent students.
Nice. And then the last one is I currently use generative AI tools in my teaching, research, or administrative work. Mm. So we have 66.7 strongly agree, 71, 14% agree, 14% neutral, 0% disagree, 0% strongly disagree. Nice. Okay.
Okay, we have 1 minute left. There's time for one more question here.
One question, one comment.
Where's a comment?
Yeah, That was an interesting poll question. From my perspective, AI can serve as a tool that requires both critical thinking, independent problem solving. Correct. Exactly. It's not a standalone, and it's not going to give you more than what you put in. It just enhances your information. So that constant back and forth, the interaction is really good. Thank you.
Hey, thank you everybody for attending. It's time to end the session now. So next sessions will be open in the next 10 minutes. So pick one that interests you and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you
Thank
again,
you.
Robin, so
Bye
much.
bye.